नमस्कार मंडली, आपकी अदालत में आपका सबका हार्दिक स्वागत है। हर केलवन को हम नोहा कम्युनिटी के नए ज्वाइन होने वाले सभासद का परिचय करवाते हैं, उनसे उनका कार्य का डिटेल्स मांगते हैं और उनसे इल्जाम लगाते हैं। तो ये वीक हम नोहा केलवन को ज्वाइन करने वाले नए मेंबर का एक परिचय करवाते हैं, उनसे इल्जाम लगाते हैं और जब ये परिचय करने वाले खुद स्वयं वकील होते हैं तब ये मुकदमा संगीन हो जाता है। तो चालू करते हैं आपकी अदालत का आज का दौर। धन्यवाद।
रिचमंड के अनुजा केलकर के होने वाले पति वकील वेणुगोपाल कट्टा आपकी अदालत में हाजिर हो।
वेणुगोपाल कट्टा पर ये इल्जाम है कि
वेणु पे इल्जाम है कि 2 बार अनुजा की अनुपस्थिति में अनुजा के पहले एरो गार्डन की मरम्मत नहीं की और एरो गार्डन के अरबस और भेजी मर गए। वेणु हैज बीन accused of neglecting Anuja's aero garden 2 times while she was away.
और बस नहीं और
वेणु पे इल्जाम है कि 2 बार अनुजा के अनुपस्थिति में अनुजा के पहले एरो गार्डन की मरम्मत नहीं की और एरो गार्डन के अर्ब्स और वेजी मर गए। वेणु has been accused of neglecting Anuja's aero garden 2 times while she was away.
अदालत की कार्रवाई शुरू हो जाए।
Thank you. So I want to ask a couple of questions to the accused as a lawyer of our client Anuja, and I want to start with your childhood. I have heard that you grew up in Richmond, sir. Can you tell us how was your childhood? How did you grow up, and what was the setting so that we can delve into the charges that we have? Please go ahead.
I grew up 30 minutes outside of Richmond, Virginia, in a small town called Chester. 2 loving parents who both loved plants. We had lots of plants in the house. I always took care of them and watered them when I was asked to. No complaints. We lived there my entire childhood until I grew up and left the house.
Explain your family a little bit. How many siblings you had? How was your life up to middle school or high school? What were your hobbies when you were growing up? Explain us a little bit.
I have one older brother, Gaurav, who has one beautiful son and one other daughter on the way. And we both grew up in Virginia. I went there all throughout my childhood, my schooling. As a kid, this is going to shock Anuja, I was a little shy and introverted. I was a little bit lonely as a kid, but then I discovered theater in middle school and took part in the school plays and then really came out of my shell.
Nice. Tell us a little bit about your theater experience. Did you continue in high school? What happened? Tell us how you got interested. Any interesting stories that you have?
In high school, they had a couple of different plays that the high school did. I did the sketch comedy show, and every year after we did the show, I'd be called into the principal's office to defend why the show shouldn't be canceled for offensive jokes. And all 4 years we managed to get it renewed. But all 4 years I wrote and I acted in the comedy show each year. And I really enjoyed it. Made some of the best friends.
Fantastic, good job. Let's go to your high school years. So during the high school, typically that's where your career starts shaping up, right? Tell us during high school what were your hobbies, what you were doing over the weekends, and when you were growing up, what was your experience like?
I was a big nerd.
Okay.
I'm maybe one of the only kids when they tell their parents on a Saturday morning they're going to the library. I was actually at the library. But I really enjoyed my friends in high school. It was a very nerdy environment.
Yeah.
But I thought I went to a math and science high school because I thought I would be
Oh, is it so?
a computer science tech person, and then I realized I wasn't good at that.
Okay.
And I was much better at arguing and writing.
Oh,
So I
good. That's
decided
where
to
you.
call it.
Good. Where did you go for college, Venu?
I went to William and Mary.
Oh, amazing.
We got some fans.
Yeah.
We're going, I know Swascock is a fan.
Yeah. Good. So tell us that in typical Indian neighborhood, right? Computers, medicine is the one, and it used to be lawyer, and then it kind of started de-emphasizing that. What we admire about you is that you chose your path of passion. So tell us, how did you end up thinking about a law? At what stage you decided you went for math and science school? So tell us a little bit about how you discovered yourself to go into the law bench.
I don't know what you would call this in Marathi, but when I was born, my parents, when they went to India, they went to like an astrologer.
Okay.
And my parents asked the astrologer what like the kids would be when they grew up. And so my father recently found a letter from my grandfather, like telling him the results. And he said my brother would be a doctor, and me would win every argument. And so he goes, that's probably
That's how that's a good thing.
reading retrospect.
Yeah. Good.
I always like standing up to bullies and making sure that people are protected. And the best way to stand up to bullies is by holding them accountable with the law. So
Wow.
I always wanted to be in law enforcement and stand up to people who are abusing and preying on vulnerable people. And I think I'm doing that just a little bit. I don't know how good I am at it, but hopefully
My
I'm
lord,
doing
I
a
think
little
that I'm listening to DNC speeches from you.
Well, I mean, it's not just her. Every time I get up in court, I have to say Venu Kata for the people. You have to say that.
Yeah. So Venu, tell us what you exactly do right now. What you're doing? Are you enjoying that job? And tell us how a typical day that you have.
There is no typical day, but I'm an assistant district attorney in New York. I work with the police to prosecute crimes. So somebody gets arrested, and much like you're doing right now, I've got to go into court. But I'll say this: if I have a defendant who doesn't speak English, we get them a translator. This is the first time I've seen a court. The whole courtroom has been translated. The language of the defendant.
Okay, good. So your typical day, is it 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 6 hours?
You should ask Anuja what the typical day. It's however many hours it takes to get it done.
Is it so? It's very
8 hours maybe in the office and maybe another 8 at home.
All right. So let's talk about the accuser has told that you did not take care of her plan. So before we go there, I want to understand a little bit about how did you find Anuja?
I'm looking at you. Say you were good. Am I on a short leash?
Why are you making it weird?
Well, we met on an app, as is common these days. She said I was very weird because after a few messages, I said, "Do you want to meet for some? You want to meet up?" I was in the middle of my law school finals, and so I met with her for 30 minutes, and I said, "Okay, I got to go back to studying." I think, in retrospect, she thought that was a little rude. But I had a wonderful first date, and then it continued from there.
Fantastic, good job. So where did you go for law school?
Georgetown.
Oh, Georgetown lawyer. All right, you're good. All right, so let's come to the actual accusation that you have. Explain me how this aero garden. No, none of us, I think, at least I don't know about aero garden. So explain what this aero garden is.
So an aero garden, especially for those of us who lived in a cooped-up apartment building, we don't have enough space for a vegetable garden. You have these little pots, and there's a UV light and a self-built-in water feeder. So you put these pod seeds in, and you grow your tomatoes, your jalapenos, and all you have to do is you put some water in one tank, and you put some food in the other tank, and it does everything for you.
Oh, good. So what exactly happened? She went for some bachelorette thing, and what happened to the aero garden? Tell us.
The day after she left, I noticed it was already looking a little flattened, so I thought, this hasn't been watered. There's a red light saying it hadn't been watered. So I thought, I'll be a good fiance.
Okay.
I'll put some water, and I'll top it up with food. So I filled a cap full of the fertilizer, the plant food. I put it in the tank. I put the water in the tank. I let it sit, and then it got worse. But it was already getting bad before I even noticed.
All right. So that's the second instance. The first instance was there. It was not watered for a long time, and it died. How about that?
I was never asked. We were both traveling. I came back. I said, "It's making a noise. It's making the screeching sound." She said, "That means it's empty and you have to put water in it." So I did it. I didn't realize once it's already dead, the water bring it back to life.
All right. So now I think, Milord, I have put all the evidence over here. The accused thinks that he has been grown up with the parents who were into the plants and everything. He says that he didn't even know he wants to water. So I request that the maximum punishment should be given for Venu Katta, and I rest my case.
Now, are you defending yourself? Silence in the court.
Silence.
It is the turn of the cross-examination of Anuja Kelvan. Ms. Kelvan, please take the stand.
संजय केळकर और अंजलि केळकर की सुपुत्री वेणुगोपाल कट्टा की होने वाली पत्नी आज की अदालत में हाजिर हो।
Look at her. We have seen her since her childhood. What a deceiving look that is. I don't trust her. So I'm going to make her do something to put the hand on the Bible.
Milord, objection. When my client was asked to do this, the other side didn't take the oath. So I object for taking the oath.
Objection overruled.
Juries, now think about this. I mean, look at him. Do you think that he will lie ever? And look at her. Okay, so देवा शपथ खरं सांगेन खोटं सांगणार नाही.
All of that.
All of that. So let's start with the accusation that you have. But my client has many accusations. Like you unplug the monitors every night from their docking station. You don't water the plants. Why? I need to know, because the Anuja that juries know is somebody who was not like this. So what happened in the last 10, 12 years to you? So we are interested to hear, like, what happened after high school?
I got busy.
What, dizzy or busy?
Busy.
Busy.
There's so many things I have to do around the house that I forget to plug the monitor back in.
Excuse me, while you were in the college, you had to do all the work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Amaya would call me, ask for help. I have to put my stuff away, help him.
Amay is the next one on the spot. But then, that does not mean that you should be using like 20 pots and pans for making a pasta, right?
Well, he wants good food, so it's going to cost him.
I don't think so. Do you think anybody that 20 pots and pans for that? You do it just because to make his life miserable, because he's the one who has to wash the dishes. Lord, that jury over there has to be.
Bias.
This is
Okay, alright, coming back to the case.
Indian court. Make it chaotic.
So explain me what happened in the college days. What do you do? I mean, I think this has to be thought in detail, like your background, what do you work, who's your boss, where do you work, you know, all that. So can you give us more details?
Sure. So I went to Virginia Tech for 3.5 years for business IT. And then I graduated and I moved to Kansas City. And I've lived there for a few years, came back, switched jobs a few times. But now I'm working at Children's Hospital in IT.
Okay. But that doesn't tell me why you would use pots and pans. So many pots and pans.
Well, you have to, it's an art. So
Okay.
each thing goes in each pan. You don't want to dirty between the two. And then if you touch meat, you have to put it in the dishwasher.
Okay.
But then what if you need to cut other meat? You can't use the same one. So you have to take another knife out, another cutting board out.
Okay.
So like that, it stacks up. And then the sink is full for him.
But that is not related with unplugging the monitors every night.
You're asking me about dishes.
Yeah, but this is, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it.
Why do I unplug the monitor?
Yeah.
Because I have to plug my computer in. And then at 5 o'clock, I'm so tired from all the not work I do that I forget that the monitor is plugged into my laptop. And you should be doing work at work and not at home. So. You don't need the monitors.
You should be talking to me and to the general, not to my client.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it is in the book. Right? Not to the client, please. Okay, all right. So I think I rest my case that this lady just cannot explain why she makes my client work harder. She hasn't given any evidence why she should use 20 pots to make a simple pasta. Okay? So I think that's all right. I leave it to you and to the jury.
अब बारी आती है मुकदमे की फैसले की। जज वैशाली जी आपका फैसला देगी।
After considering all the witness testimony and the evidence presented, the court has reached a decision. According to the Noah Marriage Act of 2024, Section 824, which just happens to be today's date, the court finds both Mr. Katta and Ms. Kelvan guilty of the charges leveled against them and sentences them as follows. Mr. Katta, you will no longer be negligent and will take care of Ms. Kelvan's aero garden to the best of your ability. Ms. Kelvan, you will also not unplug Mr. Katta's monitors and will not use too many pots and pans. In addition to this, the court also orders that both the accused, as an additional punishment, they should enact their proposal now.
We'll reenact our marriage proposal?
Yeah.
Give him the ring.
When you tell them where you did it.
So we're at.
Anuja, give him the ring so you can give
So let's give everybody some backstory. We're going to give all the backstory, but we're at the lobby of the Waldorf Astoria. Hopefully I won't get too many criticisms from this audience, and that it was the former, but not current, Trump International Hotels. Anuja thinks we're going to only have lunch at this fancy restaurant by Jose Andres in the hotel. So she arrives, she Ubers, she has 800 different things go wrong earlier in the day. She finally gets in. I say, let's go into the restaurant. And before we turn in, I ask her, and her first reaction is, and then you say,
What did I say?
that's not funny.
Oh.
And then I go
Wait,
like this.
you have to give context to that.
So in the past, for a few months leading up to the engagement, if my shoe was untied, I would go. So we're at the restaurant, I do this.
And I didn't see the ring. That's why I said.
You just see this, you say that's not funny. There's a photographer right there. So our first picture is you saying, that's not funny. And then I forget that I'm supposed to put the ring on her hand. And then we turn to the photographer. So many cameras.